In last lecture, what we have done is question number 2, 3 and 4. What we have already completed, time value of money. And what we are starting right now is security valuation, where we have done question number 2, 3, 4. So let us start directly with the questions. First, what is the base of finding out the valuation of security? That is the present value of future cash flow. Not only security, anything in finance is valued by this particular concept. Is it alright? So let's directly start with question number 5. This you are having it, but even if you don't open your book, it is absolutely alright. See 1.1.5. Mr. A is thinking of buying a shares at the rate of rupees 500 each, having a face value of rupees 100. He is expecting a bonus in the ratio of 1:5 during the 4th year. Annual expected dividend is 20%. And the same rate is expected to be maintained on the expanded capital base. I'll explain how this dividend will work. He intends to sell the shares at the end of the 7th year at an expected price of 900 rupees. Incidental expenses for purchase and sale of shares are estimated to be 5%. He expects a minimum return of 12% per annum. So what is his required rate of return? Is 12%. Of whom? Mr. A. Is it alright? Should Mr. A buy the shares? How we will decide this? You need to find out NPV or find out the valuation of the share, then decide whether the share is overvalued or not, and you will be easily getting whether you should purchase the share or not. If so, what maximum price should he pay for each share? Now this is the same thing. Valuation basically means what is the price he is ready to pay for each share. Assume no taxation on dividend income and capital gain. So dividend is tax free and capital gain is tax free. This will be assuming. Please try to understand. First you need to find out a valuation of the share. For that purpose you need to find out cash flow for each year. Now when he is expecting to sell at the end of 7th year, so cash flow will be at the end of 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Let me assume one share. I am valuing how many share? One share. Is it alright? How much dividend I will be getting in 1st year? Annual expected dividend is 20%. 20% on what? 500 or 100? Now it is very easy. Dividend is always paid on face value. Is it alright? So 100 into 20% will be 20 rupees. Is it alright? Before getting bonus. Now when the bonus is issued, bonus in the ratio of 1:5 during the 4th year. So for first 3 years, he'll be getting 20. Is it alright? Now in 4th year, please understand, in first 3 years, how many share he was having? One share. Now the company has issued the bonus that if you are having 5 share, you will be getting 1 share. So how much bonus he will be receiving? He will be receiving 1 divided by 5. Is it alright? This is 0.2. Now sir, there cannot be 0.2 share. Agreed. But understand, if you are holding 10 share, you will be getting 5 share. If you are holding 10 share, you will be getting 2 share. If you are holding 5 share, you will be getting 1 share. So if you are holding 1 share, for the purpose of mathematical calculation, you can understand that you will be getting 0.2 share. Is it right? Now, what will be your capital base? Now you are having 1.20 share multiplied by 100. So your face value of 120, you are having shares having face value of rupees 120. What is the dividend rate? 20%. So from now onwards, you will be getting dividend of 24 rupees. Is it alright? Are you keeping this share for infinite period of time, or you will be selling after 7th year? I will be selling these shares after 7th year. So I will be getting 900 rupees. Is it alright? Because the share value is 900. Is it alright? Now this is not correct. Is it alright? Why? I'll tell you. When I purchased the share, I was having one share. But at the end of 7th year, I am having 1.2 shares. Multiplied by 900. Is it alright? This is 1080 rupees. Is it alright? So at the end of 7th year, I get 1080 rupees plus 24 rupees, which I am getting as a dividend, and this will be my cash flow. Please try to understand. Now if you watch all this cash flow, if you have purchased one share of this company, this will be your cash flow. Do you agree? In first 3 years, you will be getting dividend of 20. After that, you will be getting dividend of 24. At the end of 7th year, you will be getting 1080 rupees if you have purchased one share initially. Yes. Now you have got 1.2 share. Is it right? Now, sir, if we are selling at a profit, will not be there a capital gain? Yes. Then you have to pay tax on it. The answer is yes. But in this question, they have written that capital gain tax should be ignored. Is it right? Assume no taxation on dividend and capital gain. So this will be my cash flows. I need to find out the present value at 12%. I'll be finding out present value of first this 3, then this 3, and this answer is 4, 0, 1, 1. 1104. Is it right? So first let me find out present value of this first 3 years. One divided by 1.12 is equal to m plus is equal to m plus is equal to m plus MRC multiplied by 20. It is 48.03. Let me find out present value of this 4, 5 and 6th year, which is 24. 1 divided by 1.12. See how I am finding it out. Is equal to, is equal to, is equal to. This is first 3 years factor. 4th year factor, m plus. 5th year factor, m plus. And 6th year factor, m plus. MRC multiplied by 24 will be 41.02. And present value of this is 1 divided by 1.12. 1. 7 times is equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 multiplied by 1104 is equal to 499.39. If I find out the present value of cash inflow, it will be 48.03 plus 41.02 plus 499.39 is 588.44. Making some mistake? Yes, I'm making a mistake. Try to concentrate. Where is the mistake? I'll tell you. Incidental expenses for purchase and sale of shares are estimated to be 5%. This I have ignored. I should take into consideration. Is it right? So when I will be selling the shares, I will be getting 1080 rupees. But 5% will be incidental expenses. So I'll have to pay 5% to someone as an expenses. So I will be getting only 95% of 1080. Sorry. So 1080 into 0.95 is 1026. This will be 1026. 1026 plus 24 is 1050. Is it alright? So this figure will change. Even this figure is not correct. So finding out present value of 1050, 1 divided by 1.12 is equal to 7 times 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 multiplied by is 474.96. Adding all 48.03 plus 41.02 plus 474.96 is a 564.01. Now this is correct. 564.01. That's right. This is my valuation of the share. This is a maximum price I am ready to pay for the share. How much price I will be paying today? Rupees 500? No. I need to even pay incidental expenses of this 5%. This will be 25. ₹525. So ultimately I am what is my valuation of the share? 564. What is the market valuation? 525. Market has undervalued it. What I'll do with anything which is undervalued is I will purchase that type of thing. And so my answer is I will purchase this share. Now they are also asking me this. If so, what is the maximum price he should be ready to pay for each share? Is it alright? Now understand, this is a maximum price which he is ready to pay for each share. But with every purchase, there comes that 5% incidental expenses. So he will not ready to pay 564 per shares. He will have to pay something for expenses. And so this is the maximum price he is ready to pay for the share, and remaining 5% for expenses. Is it alright? So that answer will be 564.01 multiplied by 100 divided by 105 is 537.15. If you will add 5%, you will be getting 564.01. So what is the maximum price he is ready to pay for only share? 537.15. What is the maximum price he is ready to pay for share plus expenditure is 564.01. So he will not expend a single penny more than 564.01. This is nothing but, please understand, each and every question in this particular chapter will be nothing but time value of money. This was question number 5. We are going into question number 6. Sarnam Limited has issued convertible debentures with coupon rate of 12%. Coupon rate is nothing but interest rate. Each debenture has an option to convert to 20 equity shares at any time until the date of maturity. They are convertible debentures. your one debentures can be converted into 20 shares at any point of time. Debentures will be redeemed at rupees 100 on maturity after 5 years. If you are not converted into shares, it will be redeemed after 5 years. An investor generally requires a rate of return of 8% on 5 years security. As an investor, when you will exercise conversion for given market price of equity shares? Please try to understand first. If I hold the debentures up to maturity, then what is my value of debenture that I am finding out? How to find out of value of debenture, value of share, value of anything in finances, present value of future cash flow? If I am holding this security for 5 years, at the end of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, I will be getting cash flow of 12% is coupon rate. So 12, 12, 12, 12 and 112. Why 112? 100 will be redeemed on maturity. Sir, why it is not converted into shares? I am assuming if I hold this debentures up till maturity, what is the value of the debentures? Is it right? What is my discount rate? 8%. Required rate of return is 8%. I will be discounting this cash flow by 8%. Find out a present value at the rate of 8%. It is advisable first to find out for first 4 years and then separately I will be finding out of 5th year. Let me do it. 1 divided by 1.08 is equal to m plus is equal to m plus is equal to m plus is equal to m plus. This is 4 times. MRC multiplied by 12 is 39.74. Last one is 112. 1 divided by 1.08. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Multiplied by 112. 76.22. This is 115.96. Why the answer is not matching with the suggested? Let me recalculate it. I think it is a rounding off error. It is not an actual error. 1 divided by 1.08 is equal to m plus 1, 2, 3, 4 MRC multiplied by 12 is 39.74 or 75. It does not make any difference. And 1 divided by 1.08, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 multiplied by 112 is 76.22 plus 39.74. It is 115.96. Is it all? This is value of debentures. Now see, you all are studying CA final. The answer given in suggested is 116.01. This is not your error. This is just a rounding off error. They have taken this factor and they have rounded off to 3 digit. I have used all the digits in the calculator and then found out the answer. So they are having a rounding off error. I am having less rounding off error. They are having more rounding off error. And this error will not cost you marks. Is it alright? So the value of debenture is 115.96. Is it alright? Now, this debentures can be converted into shares. Please understand, this is the value today. This debentures can be converted into shares. How many shares it can be converted? 20 shares? Was it alright? Can I convert it today? Yes, it can be converted at any time. Is it? If I convert one debenture into 20 shares today, And if the price of the equity share is 4 rupees, I am getting asset worth rupees 100. What already asset I am having? 115.96. Try to understand. You are having an asset of 115.96. Now they are giving you in exchange the asset of rupees 100. Whether you will exchange or not, of course you will not exchange. Or if this 20 shares was having a cost of 5, there's 80. This will be rupees 100. Is it? You will not exchange the asset worth rupees 115.96 with asset worth rupees 100. Or 6. So, if the market price of the share today is rupees 6, then I will be opting for conversion. Then I'll not be keeping debentures, but I'll convert that into equity shares. Why? Now they are giving me asset worth rupees 120, where I am foregoing asset worth rupees 115. Here I will opt for conversion. Here I will not opt for conversion. Here I will not opt for conversion. Start. They are also asking, as an investor, when will you exercise conversion for the given market price of the equity share? Let me give you a cutoff rate. 115.96 is one debentures. How many shares they are giving me? 20 divided by 20. So 115.96 divided by 20 is 5.798. If the market price of the share is equal to or greater than 5.798 rupees. Let me write it down. If the market price of share is greater than 5.798, I will opt for conversion. What is conversion? I will give away the debentures and I will be taking shares from the company. Is it alright? So, this is nothing but question number 6, whereby one more question was asked whether the debentures should be converted into shares or not. How we did it? We found out value of debentures. We found out the value of shares which we are getting. And then we are deciding whether we should go for conversion or not. Is it alright? Next
Hello,
is...
sir. Sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes.
Mahesh here. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Sir, in the third last line of the question, when will you exercise conversion for given market price?
Yes.
So when indicates the time period, correct?
Yes, when indicates the time period.
So sir, if my price of share is rupees 4, I can say I will exercise it at the end of 4th year, because I will be getting the interest of 12 rupees for all 4 years.
Understand. The price, market price which is given, is it alright? Market price which is given is for today. It is not for future.
Sir, the given market prices means it can be whenever during the 5 years, because the debentures can be converted at any time during the 5 years. It is written in the second.
Agreed. So only I have found out whenever my market price of the share will be greater than 5.798, I will opt for conversion. Is it all? Now you are asking me, sir, if I take this interest, all interest, is it all right?
Yes.
And then I convert it into equity shares. At what price?
If 4 is the price, then I will convert it after 4 years. If 5 is the price, then I can convert it after 2 or more, or any downward years, like that, so that it will be most beneficial for the investor.
Oh, all right. See, when this is asked, you should not go for this option. Why? Then how you will find out the answer? Suppose this is fixed, right? But the market price of the share is not fixed. So what you will have to find out then? Then I will tell you what you will have to find out. After 1 year, that is after getting 12 rupees, what is the market price at which you will be opting for conversion? So you will have to find out both the things. Is it alright? Then you will have to find out again, After taking two coupon, that is first and second year coupon, what is the market price at which you will be ready for conversion? Again third answer, again fourth answer, and again fifth answer. And in all 5 answers, you will have to give these 3 answers, whether you will opt for conversion or not.
Yes, sir. But again, in the question, they have never mentioned that this 4, 5, and 6 rupees are market price as on today or as on any whatsoever date.
Agreed.
They have not mentioned this.
Strictly interpreting the question, you can do this. Is it alright? But you will have to give all the 5 years market price and then analyze whether after first year you will be converting it into shares or not. What I have done? I have done this 5 exercise one time. That is today. Is it alright? If the market price today is greater than this, I will be opting for conversion. Which 3 market prices are available? 1, 2 and 3. Is it alright? So these 3 market prices are available. At this I am opting for conversion. With this 2 I am not opting for conversion. Is it alright? But see Mike, what you are saying will become extremely lengthy. Why? Then you are giving them the answer that whether I should exercise the conversion option today or not. I am also giving them answer after 1 year whether I should exercise the option or not. After 2 years whether I should exercise the option or not. Whether after 3 years I should exercise the option or not. And similarly after 4th and 5th year. But this is not intended. Even if the language says this is not intended. You need to give answer as on today whether you will be exercising the option or not. Is it alright? Just by this one word written. Is it alright? The good question is what will be the market price at which you will be exercising the option? Is it alright? But then also the 5 answers can be given. Is it alright? Because you are taking decision for today also and you are taking decision after 1 year also, 2 years also, 3, 4 and 5 year also. Is it alright? But what we are giving the decision is we are giving them the decision of as on today. Is it alright? As on today, I will be opting for conversion if the market price is greater than 5.798. For the given 3 market price, in third I will be exercising, in first and second I will not be exercising. Is it alright? And believe me, then it will become a 12, 13, 15 marks question. This was only 4 marks question. Is it alright? We are going for 7th one. Yes. Now 7th is not very difficult, but it can be solved. X Limited just declared a dividend of rupees 14 per share. Mr. B is planning to purchase the share of X Limited, anticipating increase in growth rate from 8% to 9%. Alright. Which will continue for 3 years. He also expects the market price of this share to become 360 after 3 years. Alright. So why this 8% is given, I don't know. Up till now, this share was increasing or dividend was increasing by 8%. But now onwards it is increasing by 9%. It will increase for 3 years and after 3 years you can sell it at 360. You are required to determine the maximum amount Mr. B should pay for the shares if he requires a rate of return of 13% per annum. I am answering first question. What will be my cash flow? Dividend is just declared 14 rupees. I will be selling it after 3 years. So I will be getting cash flow for 3 years. What is the dividend in first year I will be getting? 14 plus 9% because now growth rate will be 9%. Is it right? It is 14 it is 15.26 in first year. Again it will be 9% growth. $16.63. Again there will be 9% growth. $18.1267. Is it alright? So this will be my cash flow. At the end of third year, I will be selling this share at 360 rupees. What will be my cash flow? 15.26 in first year, 16.63 in second year, and 378.13. Yes. And I'll be finding out present value at the rate of 13%. Concentrate if you are not knowing. 1 divided by 1.13 multiplied by 15.26 is equal to m plus. 1 divided by 1.13 is equal to multiplied by 16.63 is equal to m plus. 1 divided by 1.13 3 times is equal to multiplied by 378.13 is equal to m plus. MRC is 288.59. Was it all in? Yes. What I am doing is I am finding out 9% and then I am adding it into this figure. Can any student tell me the shortcut for this? How to find out first, second, third year? In your calculator, you can directly do this. 15.26 plus 9%. Is it right? You will be getting this answer. Whatever answer you are getting plus 9%. You will be getting the answer. Is it right? Because you are having that mechanical calculator. I am having this electronic calculator which is prepared by Microsoft, and in that function does not work. Is it all right? So this is nothing but present value of future cash flow, one of the simplest sum. Let me go to question number 2. The maximum price Mr. B will be willing to pay for the share if he is of the opinion that the 9% growth can be maintained indefinitely and his required rate of return is 13% per annum. Is it all right? So, in question number 2, he is assuming that he will never be selling the share. Is it all right? What will be cash flow for first year? 15.26, and this will grow at a 9% growth rate. Can you find out the present value of this? Yes. Present value of infinite cash flow with growth is cash flow of first year divided by rate of interest minus G. What is the required rate of return is 13%, which is given. Cash flow of first year is 15.26 divided by 13% minus 9%, which is nothing but 4%. 15.26 divided by 4%. 15.26 divided by 4% is 381.5. Please understand, this question is just a practice of time value of money. They have given different situation whereby you need to find out present value of future cash flows. Question number 3. We have done this. The price of the share at the end of 3 years, if 9% growth rate is achieved and assuming other conditions remaining same as in 2 above, the price of the share at the end of 3 years, what will be the price of the share at the end of third year? They are asking me if 9% growth rate is achieved, assuming other conditions remaining same. Is it all? So first time they are asking me value at the end of third year. Is it all right? They are asking me value at the end of third year. Is it all right? So for finding out value at the end of third year, I am taking this. Is it all right? Because same formula, try to understand. Here, this is value at the end of 0 year. Is it all right? If I want to find out value at the end of third year, I will have to take a cash flow of a fourth year divided by rate of interest minus G. Whether cash flow of fourth year is available? No, but I can find out. What was cash flow of third year? 18.13 was the dividend. Is it alright? So 18.13 plus 9% will be my cash flow for fourth year. 18.13 multiplied by 9% plus 18.13 is 19.76. Is cash flow of fourth year? Is it all right? So 19.76 divided my required rate of return is 13%. They have told that take the same figures minus 9%. And this figure, whatever I am getting, it is 19.76 divided by 4% is 494. What is 494? Value of the share? Yes. But this is value of a share at the end of third year. Why you would find out value of the share at the end of third year? That is not important. Normally, which value is to be found out is today. Is it alright? Why? You need to take the decision today whether you will be purchasing the share or not. But for academic purpose, if someone asks you what will be value at the end of third year, you can easily find out by this method. Is it alright? So this was again an easy question, which is 1.1.7. Is it alright? We are going to question number 8. SEM Limited has just paid a dividend of rupees 2. This is question number 8. Yes, we can do it easy. SEM Limited has just paid a dividend of rupees 2 per share and it is expected to grow at the rate of 6% per annum. Has just paid, I will be taking this as D0. After paying dividend, the board declares to take up a project by retaining the next 3 annual dividends. It is expected that this project is of the same risk as of existing project. The result, this project will start coming from fourth year onwards from now. The dividend will then be 2.5 per share and will grow at 7% per annum when at the end of fourth year. An investor of 1000 shares in SEM Limited and wants a receipt of at least 2000 per annum from this investment. We'll be doing this. Required. Evaluate whether the market value of the share is affected by the decision of the board. Is it alright? So first, we need to find out a market price if this project is not taken upon. Is it alright? The board of directors take up the project. Is it alright? Try to understand two parts. If project is not taken, and second part, if project is undertaken. What will be cash flows at the end of first year? Second year will go up till infinite. And what will be cash flow of first year? 2 per share. I have assumed it as D0. So D1 will be 2 plus 6%. Is it alright? It will be 2 plus 6% is 2.12. Is it alright? And it will go up till infinite with a growth rate of 6%. Present value of infinite cash flow with growth. Cash flow of first year divided by rate of interest. Rate of interest up till now it was not given. Yes. Recommend how the investor can maintain the target receipt given that the cost of capital of the firm is 8%. Is it alright? We will please understand cost of capital of the firm or required rate of return is one and the same. Anything which is cost for the company will be written for the investor. Is it alright? So 2.12 required rate of return is 8% divided by 6% is 2.12 divided by 2%. It is 2.12 divided by 2% is 106 rupees. If that project is not undertaken, the value of the share should be 106 rupees. If that project is undertaken, see what the project will be doing. You will require more investment, so you will not declare the dividend for first 3 years. From 4th year, you will be declaring dividend of 2.5 rupees. But which will grow not at the rate of 6% but at the rate of 7%. Is it all? How to find out value of this share? Value at the end of 3rd year is value at the end of 4th year divided by rate of interest minus G. Value at the end of 4th year is 2.5 divided by rate of interest is 8% minus 7% is 1%. So 2.5 divided by 1% is 250 rupees. But please understand this is value at the end of 3rd year. If I want to find out value at the end of 0 year, I will have to discount this for 3 more years. 250 into 1 divided by 1.08 raised to 3. Discounting it by 3 more times, I will be getting the value. Is it all? So 250, it is 1 divided by 1.08, 1, 2, 3, 3 times is equal to, multiplied by 250 is 198. So if the project is undertaken, the price of the share today, I am not talking after 3 years, I have discounted it as per today. Whenever the project is declared, see, you see this in stock market. The project is declared by a company, even if not started, the market price of the share will increase. What is the reason? This is the reason. Is it all right? People will calculate this. Is it all right? And they will ultimately say that now after declaring this project, the worth of the share is 198. So whether there will be, first question is whether the market value of the share will be affected by the decision of the board. The answer is yes. Is it all right? It will become 198. Second is, recommend how the investor can maintain his target receipt from the investment for first 3 years and improved income thereafter, given that the cost of capital of the firm is 8%. Alright. Now, I will have to find out market price of the share today if the dividend is, if the project is undertaken. Is it not? So if the project is undertaken, what is the market price of the share today is 198. Let me write down. If project is undertaken, then market price of the shares at the end of 0 year, at the end of 1st year, at the end of 2nd year, at the end of 3rd year. 2 market prices I am knowing. At the end of 0 year is 198 today. And at the end of 3rd year is 250. Let's try it. What I can do is I can add 8% or I can discount 8%. If I discount 1 year from this 250, I'll be getting 2nd year's market price. Is it correct? How? 1 divided by 1.08 multiplied by 250 is 231.48. See what I have done? I have discounted 1 year's interest from this figure. I have converted value of third year into value of second year. Whether this was value of third year or fourth year. No, it was of third year. One more time discounting 231.48. One more time discounting by 8%. 1 divided by 1.08 is equal to multiplied by 231.48. It is 214.33. And if I discount one more time by 8%, I should be getting approximately 198. 214.33 divided by 1.08. It is 198 point something. It is actually 198.45. So these are my market price of the share if the project is undertaken. Now see the question, try to understand the question. See, whenever you are writing any answer, first try to exactly understand the question, what they are asking. Recommend how an investor, now who is our investor? He is having 1000 shares. Can maintain his target receipt of investment for first 3 years. What is his receipt target is 2000 and improved income thereafter. Try to understand. You are holding, you are an investor. You are holding 1000 shares. And even if company is not giving you dividend, you want 2000 rupees every year. That is termed as your target receipt. How much rupees you want? Rupees 2000. Now sir, the company is not going to declare dividend. Yes, but you are holding 1000 shares. You are holding 1000 shares. So what you can do is, you can sell some of your shares. How many shares will be required to be sold if you want rupees 2000? You don't want anything today. I'm assuming you don't want anything today. Is it alright? The same thing is assumed in the book? Yes. So, at the end of first year, if you want 2000 rupees, you will have to sell 2000 divided by 214.33 shares, which is 2000 divided by 214.33, that is 9.33 shares. So approximately 10 shares you will be selling. How much money will be generated? 10 multiplied by 214.33. That is, you will be getting 2143 rupees in first year if you are an investor. In second year, how many shares you will have to sell if you want 2000 rupees again? 2000 divided by 231.48. It is 2000 divided by 231.48. It is 8.64. So approximately 9 shares. Investor will be selling. How much money he will be getting? 9 multiplied by 231.48. It should be somewhat greater than 2000. 231.48 multiplied by 9 is 2083. See, the company is not giving dividend. Still the investor is getting money back. Is it alright? The company is not declaring any dividend. What the investor is doing, he is reducing his investment. He is selling his investment and recovering this 2000 rupees. What is the why it is required? Because the investor wants a regular income of rupees 2000 per annum. This is the way out. In third year, he is getting dividend from which year? At the end of fourth year. So in third year also he'll have to sell some shares. 2000 divided by 250. That is 2000 divided by 250 is 8. Yes. 8 shares How much money you will be getting? 8 multiplied by 250, that is 2000 rupees. See, he is earning a regular income of 2000 or somewhat more rupees. Is it correct? From 4th year. Please understand, now selling of shares will not be required. Is it correct? Why? From 4th year he is going to get dividend. But on how many shares? He was holding 1000 shares, out of which he sold 10, 9 and 8 shares. That is total 27 shares. Is it all? So 1000 minus 27 is 973 shares. Now he is holding 973 shares at the end of 4th year. But now let me find out what will be his dividend. Per share, how much dividend will be declared in 4th year? 2.5 multiplied by 2.5 dividend per share. He will be getting 973 multiplied by 2.5. It is 2432.5 rupees. 2432.5 rupees. And please understand, this is growing. So now onwards he will never be getting less than 2000 rupees, and every year, even if the company is not declaring dividend, he has got his 2000 rupees. So just a variation in asking a question, that if you are an investor, if the company plans not to pay the dividend for next 3 years, and if you want to continue your cash flow, you will reduce your investment and ensure that cash flow, and after 3rd year, that is at the end of 4th year, again you will be starting getting that dividend portion. Is it all? A good question, especially this part, 1.1.8. Question number 9. The risk-free rate of return is 5%. So RF is 5%. The expected rate of return from market portfolio is 11%. RM is 11%. The expected rate of growth in dividend is 8%. So growth rate in dividend is 8%. The last dividend paid was 2. So I'll always assume it as D0. If the wordings is written last dividend, I'll assume it as D0. The beta of X Limited is 1.5. I think by this 3 data, yesterday we have done that CAPM model. I can find out required rate of return by CAPM model, which is RF plus beta into RM minus RF. So what was RF? Risk-free rate of return. Beta risk measurement. RM minus RF was market risk premium. Beta into RM minus RF was a security risk premium. This we have done in yesterday's lecture. 11% plus 1.5 into RM minus RF is 11 minus 5 is 6. This will be 20%. Is it all?
Sir, RF is 5%.
Sorry. Thank you. This is 5%, 9 5 14. Starting. So this will be 14%, D0 is 2%. Let us see what is asked. What is the present price of the equity stock of X Limited? See, whenever I am not told that I will be selling the shares after 1 year, after 2 years, I will treat it as infinite. So at the end of 1st year, up till infinite, what will be D1? 2 plus 8%. Is it alright? Will be D1. Is it alright? It is 2.16 and it will grow at the rate of 8% up till infinite. Finding out present value of this is cash flow of 1st year divided by rate of interest minus G. This will be 2.16 divided by 6%. It is 2.16 divided by 6% is 36. Again, the concept of time value of money and nothing else. How would the price change when the inflation premium is increased by 3%? The expected growth rate is decreased by 3% and the beta is decreased to 1.3. Is it alright? So inflation premium is increased by 3%. Let us do one by one. Let me name it question number 2 sub point 1. So 2.1. So answer 2.1. If inflation premium increases by 3%. Please understand what was your required rate of return considering each and every point was 14%. Is it all right? Now, the economy is inflating and you want a premium of 3% on it. Then your required rate of return will be converted into 17%. That is 14 plus 3%. 14 plus 3% will be 17%. Otherwise, answer will remain same. So, I will be writing down same answer, which is nothing but 2.16 divided by 17% minus growth rate is 8%. That is 2.16 divided by 9%. 2.16 divided by 9%. It is 24. Second one. The expected growth rate decreases by 3%. So what is the growth rate right now? 8%. Is it alright? Decreases by 3%, minus 3%. That is growth rate will be 5%. Is it alright? If the growth rate becomes 5%, then I will have to find out D1 again, because D0 is 2. D0 is 2. So D1 will be 2.10. And my present value or answer will be cash flow of first year, that is 2.10 divided by rate of. Now I should not take 17%. See, whenever this type of questions are asked, then this should be taken as separate situation, this should be taken as separate situation, and this should be taken as separate situation. So required rate of return 14%, I will be keeping it original. 14% minus 5%, it is 2.10 divided by 9%. 2.10 divided by 9% is 23.33. And third one. The beta decreases to 1.3. So we'll have to find out the required rate of return once again. If beta is 1.3, then required rate of return will be RF 5% plus beta 1.3. RM minus RF will remain 6%. It is a 6 into 1.3 plus 5. So required rate of return will become 12.8%. Other all figures will remain same. So I can take all this 2.16 because now the growth rate I will not be changing. 12.8% minus 8%. Is it all? It is 2.16 divided by 4.8%. 2.16 divided by 4.8. It is 45 rupees. Please understand this is a practice of time value of money, and I have not just kept it for practice. And these are the questions which are actually asked in examination. This question was of again 4 marks, but still understand getting this 4 marks. I am explaining you so it takes time, but otherwise it will not take more than 3 minutes to solve this type of question because it is just present value of future cash flows. Is it alright? This was question number C 1.1.9. See what was the question they have changed? First they have asked the direct answer. Then they have changed the inflation premium, which will be directly adding to required rate of return. Then they change the growth rate, and then they change the beta. And in various situations, we just found out the answers. Is it all? Alright, this is a question of yield. Alright, now for solving this question, what is required is you will have to have the knowledge of capital budgeting chapter of your intermediate or IPCC, whereby you have found out internal rate of return. The concept of IRR will be important in this particular question. I am assuming that you are knowing some of it of IRR. Other points I'll be explaining over here. I'll be also converting it into formula, and ultimately you can mug up the formula to find out IRR anytime. A hypothetical company, this is question number 1.1.10. A hypothetical company ABC Limited issues a 10% debentures, face value rupees 1000, of duration 10 years, is currently trading at 850 per debentures. The bond is convertible into 50 equity shares, being currently quoted at 17 per share. If the yield on equivalent comparable bond is 11.80, then calculate the spread of the yield above bond from this comparable bond. Start it. What they want? Spread of yield. Above bond from this comparable bond. Now understand, in this 4th or 5th unit of this particular security security valuation, we are going to learn bond and yield and everything. Is it all? But let me give a prima facie introduction of what is the yield means. Is it all? Suppose I have purchased a Reliance at the rate of rupees 1000, and it is giving me return of 200 rupees. Now this is my cost price. Is it alright? Then what is my return is 20%? Is it alright? But the market price of the share right now is 2000, and what return I am getting is 200. Even if I have not purchased at 2000, what is the return as compared to the market price is 10%? Then 10% will be termed as yield. Is it alright? Now, see what I will be doing is, first, if this bond is converted into shares, there is working note number 1. If bond is converted into shares, then what should be the value of the bond? What should be the value of the bond is 50 equity shares into 17 rupees per share. Is it alright? So 50 into 17 will be 850 rupees. What is the market price of the share today? Debenture today is 850. So it is matching. If it is not matching, it would have been difficult. But if it is matching, try to understand number 2. If I give this bond up till maturity, if I keep this bond up till maturity, then what? How much rate of return I will be earning if I purchase this bond today? That is nothing but internal rate of return. Is it alright? If you have done your capital budgeting chapter properly, you know how to find out internal rate of return. Internal rate of return is the required or the rate of return at which NPV is 0. So let me directly take internal rate of return, not solve IRR right now. We are having international capital budgeting chapter, we are having bond chapter. So in that chapter we'll be going into deep of how to find out IRR. So let me directly take in this question from the answer, the IRR of this particular bond. IRR of this particular bond is 12.76%. Once again, try to understand. If you discount all the cash flows of this bond, cash inflow minus cash outflow, present value, then your NPV will be 0. What does NPV 0 means? The project is earning exactly your required rate of return. That means this bond is exactly giving a yield of 12.76%. If you purchase this bond. Know what they are asking? Sir, how to find out IRR? If you are knowing it, it is alright. If you are not knowing it, it is absolutely alright. We are going to do in other chapters. What they are asking? Calculate a spread of yield. If you purchase this bond, how much yield you are getting? 12.76. If you purchase other bonds in the market, comparable bonds, how much return you are yield you are getting? 11.80. Difference between that, if positive, you should go for this bond. If not positive, you should go for other market bonds, which is giving a yield of 11.80. The difference between the bond which you are calculating and the market yield will be nothing but market yield of similar bond. The difference is nothing but spread. So 12.76 minus 11.80 is 0.96. 0.96% is nothing but spread. Sir, spread is new word for me. Is it alright? It is absolutely alright. Spread, again, you will be understanding in Forex. I'll tell you, you might have seen the dollar rates. 71 rupees is for selling dollar, 72 rupees is for purchasing dollar. Then 1 rupee, difference between purchase price and sell price is nothing but a spread. So difference between any two related items is termed as spread. Is it all? This is 1.1.10. It was a long question because finding out IRR is not a difficult one but a lengthy task that we have directly taken. So we directly got the spread. Next is 1.1.11. These are in pounds. Is it all? Sewell Corporation, a manufacturer of do-it-yourself hardware and housewares, reported earning per share of, it is euro 2.10 in 2013, on which it paid dividend per share of 0.69. Earnings are expected to grow at 15% a year from 2004 to 2008. I think there is some mistake in the question. It should be 2014 to 2018. During this period, the dividend payout ratio is expected to remain unchanged. So the dividend payout ratio will remain unchanged. After 2018, the earnings growth rate is expected to drop to a stable rate of 6%. And the payout ratio is expected to increase to 65% of earnings. The firm has a beta of 1.4 currently, and is expected to have a beta of 1.10 after 2018. The market risk premium is 5.5%. The treasury bond rate is 6.25%. treasury bond rate, as these are in euros, a treasury bond rate is the government bond rate of that European countries. Is it alright? So this I can take it as RF. Market risk premium. Yes, one student tell me what is market risk premium. Yesterday we have done CAPM model. Market risk premium. Sachin?
Yes, sir.
What is market risk premium? What is 5.5%?
And it's market risk minus RM minus RF.
Yes, it is RM minus
RF.
Is that all? If it was the security risk premium, then it is beta into RM minus RF. Is it all right? So RM minus RF is 5.5%. You can find out RM by this because RF is already given, but it is not required. Is it all right? So let me find out the beta after 2018. Currently beta is 1.4. Before 2018, my required rate of return will be RF, which is 6.25 plus beta is 1.40 into RM minus RF is 5.5 percentage. So it is 1.4 into 5.5 plus 6.25 is 13.95. And after 2018, beta is expected to become 1.10. It will be 6.25 plus 1.10 into 5.5. So after that, my required rate of return will even change. It is 5.5 multiplied by 1.1 plus 6.25 is 12.3. This is after 2018. The required rate of return will be 12.30 because the risk is decreasing. Before 2018, it will be 13.95. What is the expected price of the stock at the end of 2018? I'll be doing this. What is the value of the stock using the two-stage dividend discount model? That is as on today. Is it alright? Today is 2013. 14 to 18 detail is given. Is it alright? So let me write down all the details starting from 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19 onwards. Is it alright? In 2013, I am converting euro into rupees. That is absolutely alright. Whether it is euro or rupees, it does not make any difference because this is not a forex question where the conversion is required. My EPS was 2.10 on which it paid a dividend per share of 0.69. So what is the dividend payout ratio? 0.69 divided by 2.10 is 32.85%. This is a dividend payout ratio. That is, this much portion of earnings is distributed as dividend. Is it alright? The earnings are expected to grow at 15%. So I need a growth of 15%. 14 to 18. During this period, so up till this period, I will be having a growth rate of 15% in earnings. And dividend payout ratio is expected to remain unchanged. So what you should do is 2.10 plus 15% plus 15% plus 15% plus 15% plus 15%. I am directly writing down the answer 2.415. This is 2.78. This is 3.19. This is 3.67. And it is 4.22 in 2018. Is it all? Dividend payout ratio remains same. Please understand, even if you will increase this all figures by 15%, you will be getting same answer. Or you should do this figure multiplied by 32.85%. Then also your answer will remain same up till 2018. So what will be dividend payout is 0.794, 0.913, 1.048, 2017 is 1.206 and 1.387. This will be increase in dividend by 15%, or the dividend payout ratio will remain same, 32.85%. Let me verify whether my answer is correct or not. 0.794 divided by 2.415. It is coming same, 32.85% approximately. Is it all right? So either you can find out this percentage, or you can directly increase this as 15%. Think for a while afterwards that why, even if I increase this as 15%, if I increase dividend per share at 15%, then the dividend payout ratio is remaining same. Is it? From after 2018, the earnings growth rate is expected to drop to a stable rate of 6%. Earnings growth is now 6%. So 4.22 plus 6%. It is 4.48. And so on, it will grow at a rate of 6%. The earning growth rate is dropped to a stable rate of 6%. The payout ratio is expected to increase to 65% of earnings. So what will be dividend? 4.48 into 65%. It is 2.912. From 2019. Is it all right? Yes. What is the expected price of the stock at the end of 2018? Is it all right? Then I will take, whether I should take cash flow as earnings or cash flow as dividend, you can take both. Is it all right? Both are good assumptions. You can calculate your cash flow as dividend. You can calculate your cash flow as earnings. I am assuming dividend as my earnings. Is it all right? So cash flow of 19 divided by rate of interest minus G will be value at the end of 18. If this is 19, this will be 18. What is cash flow in 19th year or dividend in 19th year is 2.912. What is the required rate of return after 2018? Is 12.30. And what is the growth rate after that? Is 6%. It is 2.912 divided by 6.30%. This will be my answer number 1. 2.912 divided by 6.30%. It is 46.22. This is value at the end of 18th year. Is it alright? 2018, because we have started with a cash flow of 2019. Is it alright? Now, they are asking us in second question, what is the value of the stock using the two-stage dividend discount model? Means they are asking us value at the end of 2013. That is value today at the end of 2013. It will be, yes, value at the end of 2013. So, what I'll have to do is, I want value at the end of 2013. So, what I'll do, I'll find out cash flow of I'll start with 14. Is it alright? Is it absolutely alright? If I want to find out value at the end of 2013, I will have to start with 14. 2014, 2015, 2016, 17, 18. Now, once I get this from 19, 20, 21 up till infinite, this value already I am knowing. Is it alright? What is the present value of this? Value as on 2018 is 46.22. What I'll have to do, I'll have to find out dividend of all these years, which I've already found out, 0.794. 0.913, 1.048, 1.206, 1.387, and this 2.912 we have already considered while finding out value of this. Is it all? I will have to find out present value of this all at the rate of, now understand, now the discount rate will change, because before 2018 what is the discount rate is 13.95%, at the rate of 13.95%. Is it all? I will have to find out a present value of all this, and I am directly writing down the present value which is already found out. It is 3.54 euro. Is it alright? And this value is of 2018. Now please try to understand, when I find out present value of this all, this is value at the end of 2013, which is 3.54. This is value at the end of 2018. This two cannot be added. I'll have to convert this into 2013. Is it alright? So at the end of 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. So I'll have to discount it by 5 years. 1 divided by. Now, whether I should discount at 13.95% or whether I should discount at 12.30%, because we are discounting the year 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18, we should use this rate, which is 13.95%. 1.1395 raised to 5. This will be again value at the end of 13 year. Both will be value at the end of 13 year. This can be added. Is it all right? And what is this value? 1 divided by 1.1395, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 multiplied by 46.22. It is 24.05. The answer will be 24.05 plus 3.54 is 27.59. This will be value at the end of 2013. Intrinsic value, maximum price I am ready to pay for this share at the end of 2013, 27.59. At the end of 2018, maximum price I am ready to pay is 46.22. Is it all? These are the two questions asked, and we have answered that two particular questions. Next is 12th one. 12th one is again easy, and we have done this type of question, so I am going somewhat fast. Subnam Limited has issued convertible debentures at a coupon rate of 11%. Each debenture has an option to convert to 16 equity shares at any time until the date of maturity. Debentures will be redeemed at ₹100 on the maturity of 5 years. An investor generally requires the rate of return of 8% per annum. As an advisor, when will you advise the investor to exercise the conversion for given market prices of the equity shares of 5, 6 and 7.10? Exactly same question as we have done before. We are just finding it out again. For the period of 5 years, if debentures are not converted. What will be cash flow from 1 to 5 years? 11% into face value 100 is 11 rupees. At the end of 5th year, I will be getting 100 rupees back. Find out present value at the rate of 8%. Sorry. 1 divided by 1.08 is equal to m plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. MRC multiplied by 11. It is 43.92. And this last one is 1 divided by 1.08. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 multiplied by 100 is 60.05. Total answer will be 60.05 plus 43.92 is 103.97. Is the present worth of the debentures? Is it alright? It is 103. This is incorrect. 1 divided by 1.08. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it is 68.05. I'll have to add 8 in this. 111.97. Is it alright? So this is the worth of the debentures if they are not converted. Is it alright? If they are converted into 16 equity shares at the rate of rupees 5, this is 80 rupees. Or if they are converted into 16 equity shares at the rate of rupees 6, it will be 86 rupees. So 96 rupees. Still it is less than this. Or 16 equity shares at the rate of rupees 7.10. It is 113.6. You will be going for conversion, you will not be going for conversion, you will not be going for conversion. Every time I will find out the rate at which above which you should go for conversion, and that rate will be 111.97 divided by 16 equity shares, which is 6.998 rupees. If the price of equity share is above this, I will be going for conversion. If it is below this, I will not be going for conversion. Is it correct? Yes, Mahek. See, whenever this is asked, this can be interpreted in this manner also. When will you advise the investor? When I will advise the investor, whenever the price is greater than 6.998, I will advise the investor to convert the debentures as on today. Is it alright? Now, if you want to find out the same rate after 1 year, you can always do it. Is it? But for this number of marks, you should not do it. There is some rounding off error. There is just rounding off because we take here full factor and they take here only 3 digit. There is a difference in answer. Otherwise, the answer is absolutely correct. Is it all? These are 12 categories of question. One question is pending, which is question number 1. Is it all? Let us go to that question. On the basis of the following information, current dividend is 2.5, discount rate is 10.5 and growth rate is 2. Calculate the present value of the stock. Let's do it. If the current dividend is 2.5 and the growth rate is 2%, D1 will be 2.5 plus 2%. that is 2.55. This is discount rate and this is growth rate. I can use that infinite cash flow model. Value as on today is cash flow of first year divided by rate of interest minus G. It is 2.55, 10.5 percentage minus 2. It is 2.55 divided by 0.08. 2.55 divided by 0.08. It is 31.87. This is answer number 1. Calculate the present value of the stock of ABC Limited. Alright. Is its stock overvalued if the stock price is rupees 35? So what is the market price of the stock? Is rupees 35. If return on equity is 9% and EPS is 2.25. Is it all? See, if the return on equity is 9% and EPS is 2.25, what will be book value of share? Will be 2.25 divided by 9%. This is also known as capitalization method. I'll explain you. First, let me find out the answer. 2.25 divided by 9% is rupees 25. Start. What is the intrinsic value of the share? Is rupees 31.87. Compare this both. Your book value is 25, market value is 35. Yes, the stock is overvalued by market. Your intrinsic value is 31.87. Your market price is 35. Again, yes, market is overvalued. Is it alright? So, in both the cases, the market has overvalued the shares. Is it alright? So, this is the answer. Let me explain you this. See, what is this? This company is earning return on investment. I'm converting equity into investment. This company is earning return on investment of 9%. Is it alright? How much dividend it is earning? 2.25 at the end of first year. Is it alright? 2.25 at the end of first year, if they are earning 9% is their return on equity. Then to earn this 2.25, how much investment is required? Is it alright? See, if the investment is 100 rupees, the company is earning 9%. 9 rupees. Is it alright? Just cross multiply this. I have just done this. Is it alright? And so, my investment should be 25 rupees to earn a profit or dividend of 2.25 rupees. Is it alright? So, my book value of the share will be 25. The price which normally I should be investing, say if you get a investment proposal whereby you are getting 2.25 rupees return and your required rate of return is 9%. What is your maximum ready to pay is 25. Is it alright? Another way of understanding this is, instead of using this discount rate, I am using this discount rate, which is nothing but return on equity. Is it alright? To discount the cash flow, but it should be without growth. Sorry. This is question number 2 of this question number 1. Is it alright? Now understand, I have categorized all the chapters except merger and acquisition. I have categorized all the chapters into this different parts. Is it alright? What we are learning? Security, valuation and analysis. And this are which type of questions? Basic, normal, present value question. So, in all these 12 questions, what I have done is, I have just found out present value. Is it alright? Now understand, after the part of classwork, there will be homework. Is it alright? I could have taken everything in classroom, but believe me, it is not important. You will have to create and learn an art of solving the questions. I don't have to write down the examination. You will have to write down the examination. You will have to solve it on your own. So what is to be done is all the homework portion you should be doing it on your own. The answers are available in the PDF. If you don't understand the answer, you can always text me. If I feel I will be also taking that question in the classroom. But most important portion of learning SFM is doing your homework. To get good marks, you should be doing your homework. Why? Understand, in examination it is possible that sometimes you will have to use your brain and solve the problem on your own. It is not always necessary that the questions which you have solved will be appearing in the examination. See, many of the faculties teaches in this manner. They try to cover all the questions so that when they go into the examination, the question normally comes which they have already solved. But the problem is the paper setter is not knowing this. They will always ask the question where some problem solving capacity is required. And so people feel that CA final is a difficult course. What you should do is try to solve the question on your own. I don't say it should be always solved. Even if it is not solved, even if there is a mistake, even if you make a silly mistake, it will be your mistake and you can rectify your mistake. Number 2 point in solving the homework is you will be getting idea of even your speed. At what speed you are able to solve the question. Is it alright? I hope all of you know for every 1 marks you get 1.8 minutes. Is it alright? So if it is 10 marks question, you get only 18 minutes. Normally the marks will be written in the bracket. So you can know that what time was available for this question and in what time I have solved this particular question. So homework is most important. So what 2 things you will be doing? Number 1, you will be preparing a formula book. Formula book basically means in separate pages you will be writing down formulas, each and every formula which we are discussing at any point of time. Number 2 is you will be solving your homework. Understand, even if the Zoom classes are absolutely free, I will be very much serious